What's up, guys? Welcome back to RC Everyday. Here with a new product from CENracing. This is F250, and it's not a dually, and it's lifted. So there's quite a few differences on this thing. I've been reading the box. I've had it for a little bit. Luckily, Cen sent it out early enough that we've actually got some time to explore it and spend some time running it and do some stuff before the videos can come out. So get a very full in-depth review in this. And there's a couple big things on here that I'm really excited to show you about because yeah, it's right up my alley. So for starters, it's officially licensed Ford body, F250, Super Duty, solid axles. Does have the aluminum shocks. My F450 was one of the first versions, and they had plastic shocks. Now all the newer versions of them have aluminum shocks. Has rock lights, multicolor changing rock lights in all four-wheel wells. It has a black textured bed liner, like a spray-in bed liner in it. The suspension I'll tell you more about in a minute. And it has scale actual bumpers with D-rings. So, a few improvements and some different wheels, KG1 wheels on it. Find the knife. I just took it out of my pocket. And we'll open this thing up. I got to see this at that truck show in Dallas. They actually unveiled it, kind of a soft unveiling at the KG1 wheels booth. And yeah, got to see a few things on it and get excited about it. Alright, this big giant box doesn't fit on my table. We got the blue one. Comes in blue and orange. Personally, after seeing them in person, I do believe the blue one is the better looking option of the two. Oh, alright. Oh, get this out of the way. Boom. Alright. Got the booklet. We've got some extra stickers. We've got all the KG1 stickers. I won't put those on. I don't work for them. But we do have some other detail. Looks like some lights and stuff for the bumpers. And some Allen keys and a 4-way wrench. Some instructions for the ESC. All the usual. This radio out of here. Does appear to be the same radio setup as the F450 had. Yep, nothing's really changed with that. So, let's get this thing unwrapped. And this is what everybody's waiting for. ASMR for all you people. That wasn't a very good ASMR, but whatever. Alright, let me get this styrofoam and stuff out of here. It's all over me now, too. Right, so, I'm digging it. It's still massive. That F450, I've had it up here working on it the last few days, adding all their Chaos aluminum upgrades to it. And, yeah, it eats up a lot of table space. And this one's just a little shorter. But I'm digging the single wheels, the single rear, shorter bed. I think that's, yeah, it's going to open up a whole another world of possibilities. But there's a few major things here that are different. We've got actual plastic bumpers, which I'm sure they'll offer some aluminum upgrades for before long. Start out back. We do actually have some light buckets in the bumper for some reverse lights. The ring's a little bulky. It does have a nice place to put a license plate, which we'll have one on here before long. Here you can see the bed liner, and it is textured. It's not smooth, so add a little bit of scale. I know it's not a full drop bed. I know there's going to be somebody in the comments, Rob, who's going to be put a drop bed in it. But for a Lexan truck, it's an inch deep, just about, and I'm sure their fifth wheel hitch and everything will work with it just the same as it did on the F450. It's got the round hole in the bed. Oh. Couldn't get all the styrofoam out of the tire yet. We'll have to wait till we drive it. They are the same Fury tires that are on the dualies, I believe. Yeah, they look Country Hunter MT. Yeah, they're the same tires. But the wheels are a different offset, and again, singles in the back. So it's the same size all the way around. It's a nice looking finish. It's kind of a satin chrome. Doesn't adds a little depth to it, I think. Makes it look a little bit more realistic. Oh, and one thing. So this is important to people with OCD, like the direction of the spokes. It's twisting forward. The opposite side, they're still twisting forward. So there is 2 separate part numbers for the wheels. So for all you people that hate that like I do, that's something they thought about. It's kind of surprising. The company really actually put some thought into it. So the wheels are directional, and there's 2 different ones for left and right. And I know everybody's upset about Lexan. I'm the biggest fan of Lexan, but I've seen what can be done with these, like 110 Rod Shop's doing with the all their stuff, which will be interchangeable with this body. And yeah, they made some. It made me love Lexan, but I'm less angry at it. We'll pull the body off. It's finished black on the inside, just like the F450 was. 2 separate pieces, so if you want to add a flat bed or a custom bed or some other bed, you can do so. And still have a full cab back. It also adds some rigidity to the whole thing. So move this out of the way and take a look at the rest of this. So the first thing you notice, it's the same 550 motor, same ESC. We have a light controller now, and there's quite a few differences. We have these upper pieces that go over the shock towers. The shock towers are still metal, just like on the other one. And it has these plastic pieces that bolt over it, and that holds our rock lights. We actually have a battery latch system back here, which we didn't have before. We had straps. It is removable if you don't like it. You lock it down, turn that, keep your battery clamped in. Dean's connectors. Thank you, CENracing, for having Dean's connectors. As much appreciated. What else? Same Hobby Wing ESC. I'm assuming the servo is the same. It says on here. It's a Savox base servo, made specifically for them. And yeah, the servo mounts backwards on this one. If I can get you in there, there's the world's longest servo arm. It's ridiculous. It has a pretty trick steering setup. It was working around this pretty trick suspension that I'm dying to show you, that I keep talking about. But as far as the chassis goes, that's about all the differences. The bumpers and stuff are mounted to it, not the body. You got light buckets in the front bumper as well. Adjustable body post, just like on the other one. And yeah, shocks. Let's look at the shocks real quick. Aluminum shock with a remote reservoir, and it is a dummy reservoir. It's not functional, but I probably bet money that there's going to be one that's functional coming soon, because they seem to really like their aftermarket stuff, and they've got some pretty cool stuff. So without further ado, let's look at the suspension. So have a look at that. I had a comment on Instagram about a month ago with a link to a video saying, "Hey RC Everyday, do you think you could engineer this into RC? I think you could make this scale?" And it was a Watts link, and I got to thinking about it, and I was like, the only problem I had was how to mount the Watts link part, the pivot point, to the axle, because I was thinking in terms of Yoda axles and things like that, and there's no provision there. You might have to mount it off of a 4-link truss or something like that. And then I go to that truck show and I see this. They've already done it. So with the full not triangulated 4-link, you have a parallel 4-link with a Watts link on the top, so the axle stays perfectly centered no matter what height the truck is. I'm trying to figure out a way to get my camera in there so you can see this. So you have a link up here and a link on this side, and they actually reused the 3-link mount, upper 3-link mount from the F450 platform with its 3-link with a panhard bar. It's a panhard mount. It works perfect. There's already a place for it to bolt to right there, and then you have this arm on top of the axle that swings that way. So the arms just kind of move in with it, and it keeps everything exactly parallel. They actually have very good range of motion with that. The only issue I would ever see with that is trying to get it low. You've got that mechanism on top of the axle, but that's not really what it's for. Most lowered trucks, they mount it on the back of the axle because the axle is up in the frame rails, and then they can mount it to the inside of the frame rails, and it pivots this way as opposed to being on top pivoting that way. But that's where I've seen them before. I've always seen them on air ride and stuff like that. But that was a genius move. Apparently that was a big complaint with the F450. I never really, I mean, with the air ride, it didn't track a whole lot, but you notice it when you go from full compression to full decompression, it would shift over 3 or 4 millimeters at most. But yeah, fixed it. Also with this, since it's a shorter wheelbase, we have just a front and a rear drive shaft. We don't have a carrier bearing like the other truck had. It had a 2-piece rear drive shaft. And we have this drop-down bracket here, which is metal off of the chassis. And they built it like I would have. And they used rods to support that structure. Closer look at the axle. They are the same axles as the F450. The truss for the Watts link bolts into the two top holes that your upper link mounts were for the 4-link conversion on the F450. So they clearly had this planned out. Even the 4-link mounts are the same, and on the other one you don't use 2 of the holes because it's just a 2-link. The upper mounts mount up top of the axle. So very resourceful. I'm digging this whole setup though. It looks like I engineered it. I like it. Better look at that front bumper. It does have 4 LED sockets, and yeah, no lights for that, just the rock lights only. Yeah, it's something. I think the plastic bumpers was a huge step in the right direction, because that was my biggest complaint with the 450 was just having the Lexan bumpers, and then you got to try to cut it off and find something 3D printed, which there's a lot of options out there now, but I still haven't done it because it's extra, it costs money. So now at least you get something right out of the box. It's not it's got a little flex to it. It's not brittle or anything, but it's better than Lexan, that's for dang sure. Know about these hooks, they're a little aggressive for my flavor, but overall I'm digging this thing. So let me get a battery in this and some batteries for the remote. Dang it, I knew I'd forget something. I want to see these lights light up. We'll see how they look. Alright guys, had an issue when I first turned it on. I had no left steering. The endpoints weren't set. This is a very, very early production one, so I don't know if that's something to look for, but it's easy to fix. You just turn the wheel left, hold this button down, it'll start beeping and beeping, and then it'll beep real fast when it's all the way. So now we've got full-on steering. It's a Savox made servo, so it does buzz a little bit, and it's not happy. It's not perfectly centered, and it sounds hysterical while you're driving. But another cool thing with the rock lights, they do change color. I'm not sure if you can see them right now. They're yellow. All you got to do is 2 light taps, not too fast, of channel 3 button. That was too fast. Now they're green. Now they're really green. Now they're blue. Now they're blue-green. Purple. White. And off. So that's kind of cool. It's a simple one touch deal, not a whole bunch of mess. And I didn't even notice on my F450. I don't even know where that box is. It has complete build instructions. So if you're doing what I'm doing right now with the 450, going through adding upgrades and aluminum stuff, the whole build thing's in there. Handy. Good remote book as well, because that helped me figure that out, because I'm not an electronics expert. So I've got my big Helios battery in here. My little 3000s wouldn't fit. This mount is a little snug. This one, it's wedged in there nice and tight. This is the 3700. It's a little bit thinner than the 3000. A little bit shorter and a little bit wider this way, but fits good. Perfect length cable, and that will be plenty of power for this thing. This is just like the F450 is going to be. I've already accidentally full throttled it on the table. It's going to be faster than it needs to be, especially as high as it is. One last thing, it's kind of hard to see. I've got the wheel turn. The steering has a big drop servo horn, a small arm, and then it has a pivot joint on the axle, and then it shifts or it steers from the front of the axle. So it's set up opposite. It's kind of a cool setup. It's a neat way to still allow a lot of suspension travel, and it just barely clears that watch link in the front. It's pretty close, but there's no rubbing at all. It's neat. They really spent some time on this. That's Savhawk servo. So I guess all that's left now is to get it outside and get some miles on it. Like I said, I've got this ahead of time, which is nice for a change. Usually product releases I get a day before they drop, and especially if it's a kit or something, there's no way I could build it in time. And Cen gave us a few weeks to actually get the other truck and do a full good review of it. So yeah, we're gonna go play. It's not just gonna be a quick run in the yard. I'm gonna go try to do some cool stuff with it, get some cool shots. And of course, we got to see how fast this is, because my F450 was way too fast for its own good. And I mean, this is the same drivetrain setup, so obviously it's going to be as well. That's why I think they're so adamant about having those sway bars on here, because big top heavy truck, and this one doesn't have as wide a berth at the rear, so we'll see how stable it is at speed. I really don't want to scratch it, because it's, you know, it's a pavement princess truck, but I just love the engineering stuff on it. I'm just geeking out over that. But yeah, let's go have some fun. Alright guys, so we've had a couple weeks now taking it, driving it, and doing different things here and there. It definitely needs a locker. I tried it on that gravel and it just was not having it at all. With the sway bars and stuff, I mean, it's designed for pavement, you can tell. But I've got a locker we're going to throw in the rear. I'm not going to do a video on it or nothing. We've got all that stuff on the F450 doing the install. But definitely going to do a rear locker and then take it back out again, because it's going to change the whole dynamic of the truck. But this thing is top heavy. I did roll it. Unfortunately, the camera didn't catch it, but I've got a couple little scratches on both back wheels, and I've got a little scratch here on the side of the cab and a little back here, and both mirrors are scratched now because she is a little top heavy. And yeah, it's not like the F450. We don't have those dual rears to really add stability. And yeah, I went from the smooth pavement to the asphalt, and I didn't think about turning a little less aggressively, and yeah, went rolling. So I think a rear locker, I mean, this platform is really good. It's not doing what most people are going to want it to do with these low profile tires and these sway bars and stuff, unless you're just getting it to haul your rig, haul a trailer, gooseneck, or whatever you got, hauling your rock crawlers around. But yeah, I think with a little bit bigger tire on here and a locker or two, disconnect the sway bars, and I think it'd actually be a pretty good crawler, because the platform is solid, the chassis is there, the gearbox and stuff. I mean, I've not seen any issues with that. I've never heard of people having issues with those. I think it's a really good basis. It just depends on what you want to do with it. So I don't know what the future holds for this truck. We've been decking out the F450, and we've got some new stuff coming. It may already be out. I don't know yet. Filming everything in advance to get confused. But yeah, got a lot of things in the work. But I'm going to go ahead right now after this video and throw that rear locker in here, and yeah, be the first mod to this truck. And we'll see where it takes us. I don't know what to do with it yet. Like I said, my F450, my gray one, is the hauler now. And we're going to do some other stuff with the red one. And this one, yeah, we'll find its purpose. But I appreciate you guys watching. And appreciate CENracing for giving us a chance to look at it first and share it with you guys. And yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. And if you're interested in these, please use the link in the video description. It does help the channel. If you're looking at any of these parts or anything, go through my link, and I appreciate it. So keep it scale, guys. I'll see y'all in the next video.